Are you really good at checking the boxes on the things that you got to do most days? Are you good at checking the boxes at the things you got to do every day? Do you feel like you're putting a lot of extra intense pressure on yourself by checking the boxes every day and feeling like you have to check the boxes every day? You're who I'm talking to, the perfectionist, the one that gets more things done than anybody. People look to you to be the leader. You're the one to count on. And that accountability, that may just be at work. There's a good chance that's everywhere in life, right? It's interesting because a lot of times when we talk about people being perfectionists, we have some people that don't take action and they create this list of standards, and it is a checklist that prevents them from starting, but it's really not that they have the high standards, it's just they're afraid of failing, so they don't even start. Now you very well, very easily could be afraid of failing too, but it's for a different reason, right? Because you're the one that does everything. That's who you are. You check the box. You at times feel like you control things that are really not if in your control if you think about it. That you can actually force things to go the way that you want them to go. Because sometimes you've actually been able to do it, right? But what happens when you let things slide? When you let one or two things slip? How anxious do you get? How much do you spiral in your head? Now, you guys will find like a lot of what we talk about, it starts in health and fitness, but it ends up washing over into other areas of our life. It's actually what I really love about being in this space because your weight loss journey like is a it's a it's a place where you can it's a really just confined part of your life where you can develop you can develop skills around consistency, structure. You can develop discipline as a skill, use it when you need it, and you can really start to stack those wins, right? It's also an area that if you are somebody that has to do all the things, nothing is ever good enough. Eventually you're going to burn out. And you've probably experienced that on your weight loss journey at the times that you've been successful, but then you fall off. And you don't fall off because you're not disciplined enough. This is one of the things that irritates me about what the fitness industry says. Oh, you must not want it enough. That's like, I do all the things. I do more than what should be humanly possible. And I get tired, right? That's probably a very common thought process. And there's a fine line. So I've been both of these types of perfectionists before in my life. First, I was very scared to even start anything. So like the whole thing of me sharing my thoughts and opinions in the fitness space, I actually had the opportunity at the first fitness job I had. This was back in 2004. Our club owner had me go and do Q&A at this place locally, at this church locally, and I liked it. I liked being able to answer questions. I liked that the responses I had were going to help people. And at that time, I was new to working in the fitness industry, but I was first aware of my weight and my body image, and started uh, started dieting relatively young. I was aware of my body, that my weight and body image when I was 8 years old. When they used to weigh us in elementary school, and then like they would weigh the class individually. They would weigh you, and then like they would yell back to somebody who would write the weight down. And this is crazy if you think about it now in like 2026. But like I've talked to people around my age. I'm 44 now, and like they absolutely did this. So like, even though at that point I was 22, I was 22 years old, um, I still had a frame, a point of view and a frame of reference for like trying to break down all this stuff. But then I talked myself out of doing it. This was even like pre YouTube, actually. Yeah, the end of 2004, it would have been pre YouTube. I didn't do it for a while. So much so I didn't even start this actual YouTube channel. I started this YouTube channel in 2014, 2015. And for the longest time, I just didn't do anything. Then, and I've talked about this on other podcasts, and I don't want to get too far off topic here, but then I got to the point where I'm just like, I'm very consistent with my follow through. And see, for a while, that was my identity. Now, I want to, for those of you that feel this way, there's another way of doing it. There's taking, like, really stepping back and assessing what you've learned from being this way in life, because you have learned a lot. That's the thing. If anybody ever like spends time, it's a good thing, but overall a bad, like, so I don't like the whole hustle culture thing. I used to love it when I was at this point where my identity was wrapped up in the actions and stuff that I would take. I loved it, but you can look at the lessons that you've learned living this way in your life and see where you can step back, put structures and systems in place, get things done, but not be okay when things don't get done. And I say this to you as somebody that is very productive with it. I mean, again, I worked in, when I say that I've worked in marketing, yes, I've worked in social media and I've worked in agency stuff, but I've worked on the corporate side as well, which is when you are part of a marketing team for a company or brand that is trying to get a message out. Like, it's not, you want everything to lead to sales, but it's more of the storytelling. It's like when you think of like Coca-Cola, like there are things, Coca-Cola gets you to feel things just with like colors and images, and polar bears. I love the polar bears. So that kind of marketing. But like when I tell you that you can, that there are things that I've learned in my work on how to structure and systematize things. I mean, you're listening to this podcast. Here's the secret. Okay, it's a secret. Right now, I got 11 active podcasts that I'm putting content out regularly. If you put my name into wherever you're listening to this podcast, there's a lot of shows. There's probably a couple of dozen shows, and they're filled out. They're not just ideas I had and they got like one episode and here's what we're going to do. I get a lot of things done. But what I'm able to do the vast majority of the time, I say 85% of the time is what I tell you guys is what I try to do. I'm okay with not being able to check all the boxes. I know even if I feel like it's all going to crumble, if I take a day, a week, or a month off, but I can also look at myself and say, you know what? You're very strategic about what you do. You pick up on the nuance stuff, and you have structures and systems in place that when it's the right time, and I know when it's the right time, I will go and do the work that needs to be done. So for those of you, I say all that for those of you that are the perfectionists that everybody counts on, that gets all the stuff done. I want you to really look at what you've learned and how you can take some of the workload off of yourself. Doesn't mean that you have to necessarily delegate things to other people. I mean, in some areas you will, and it would be the best thing to do. But sometimes it's just putting up systems and structures for yourself. And if you probably picked up on, if you've been, listening or watching any of the videos and podcast episodes, a lot of what I said about how I handle things, it's about nuance, it's about structure, It's about keeping yourself in the right headspace most of the time, but allowing yourself the freedom to let your thoughts go, because they're going to go at times. There are a lot of things you don't control in life, in health and fitness, but in life too. So all of this stuff is baked in. So, but this entire approach, this inside out approach to fitness and weight loss, it's different than what you're probably from. Well, I know it's, if you've been on a weight loss journey on and off for years, decades, if not most of your life, I know it's different than what you've been told is the way to do it. Because, you know, they're real good at marketing it. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Boo. So, I mean, they market against our insecurities. So they market against our insecurities. So we're building appreciation and genuine confidence for who and what we see in the mirror. And we are building a forever active lifestyle that has the nuance for each and every one of us, because it is important that we do this stuff for the rest of our life. Being active will keep your quality of life as good as it can be for as long as it can be. And you deserve, when it comes to food, you shouldn't feel anxious. You shouldn't feel guilty about the choices that you're making. So this is how we build it. So if you haven't already, head to yourlevelfitness.com. Check out the framework. Check out, there's a video on there too. You can watch that. If you like watching my videos, go ahead and watch that. And then that's going to allow you to take all the experience you have, all the stuff that you've learned, and put it in a structure that you can figure out the nuance and how it's going to work for you. And then again, to stay connected to yourself, I send out the journal prompts. There's a weekly theme, and each day that I send them out, Monday through Friday, the prompts are tied to that theme. Ask one question, follow up, and usually another follow-up. So they're normally 3 and 4 levels deep, because I want you to be able to connect and figure out the nuance of this stuff. So that's what I have for you. Now, if you're listening on the podcast, you're brand new, welcome. If you like what you're hearing, go ahead and subscribe. If you aren't new and you've been listening, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And then rate and review the podcast. That helps us get the message out. And then also share this with somebody that you think would benefit from hearing it. That's also how we grow. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, brand new, welcome. If you like what you're watching, go ahead and subscribe. If you've been watching and you haven't subscribed yet, but they keep suggesting these videos, I'm trying to tell you something, go ahead and subscribe. And then share the video with somebody that you think would benefit from seeing it. And also, they think you would benefit from watching this video. However, I want you to watch it. I don't want you to spend too much time going down the rabbit hole, though, because I want you working on connecting with yourself, building your forever active lifestyle, and taking this inside out approach. So that is what I have for you. Thank you as always for listening and watching. And I'll talk to you again real soon.